Morning, everyone. I got another funny game here. Back in the day on ICC, they had the computers. Right, I've showed several computer games on the channel. Um, the funny thing was the horizon effect wasn't so deep, and they had an excellent score against humans even in 1999. This 1999, the machine is called Shyborg with a rating of 2810. It's a pretty good blitz rating in 1999. So it was having success against most of the humans, but I had a little horizon edge back in the day on our friend here. Check it out. Um, yeah, many times I was able to trick the machines. Uh, Somehow I'm black in this game, by the way. It's sort of like anti computer chess. Generally, this isn't my style. I don't play a lot of Philidor, but keeping it closed was generally a preferred method. You know, you could beat them tactically in open positions too in '99, right? But it wasn't so easy. I'll just tell a story. I wish I could find this article. Um, the top dudes was like Bob Hyatt and some other chess computer dudes who wrote an article about what was happening with the machines versus the humans at that time. And they said that out of respect to the grandmasters, they didn't want to mention all of the big names that the machines were just crushing them, even back then, right? Because it wasn't clear at what was happening. There was still debate about whether machines could overtake us. Um, now we know the answer, but back then the ego was still quite pumped up, and Kasparov was resisting arrest. And but in the article they said there were four people who were beating the computers on a regular basis, and that was Zurab Ajmai-Parashvili, Michael Rode, Roman Ginjahashvili, and some random Fide master from God knows where, right? That we were the only ones on Earth who were beating them with regularity, and so I can sort of explain why and how. Um, I think is funny. The other funny thing is to analyze the games with the modern computers and just to compare the moves. So we'll definitely get into that. So this move here, knight takes e4. It's an old common trick, right? But you kind of have to go a little deeper than knight takes e4, knight takes e4, d5, right? Because obviously the machines can see, you know, quite far ahead pretty quickly. The question is evaluating the position better than the computer, or at least having some kind of plan that the thing didn't think about, right? So knight takes e4, knight takes e4, d5. Let's say bishop takes d5, cd, knight c3. Um, what's happening there? My d pawn is hanging. It's going to be a fork with the queen on c7 and bishop on e7. But what's the point? Point is, I'm going to get a long-term attack. I'm going to sacrifice this pawn on d5 and bishop on e7. I'm going to get in e4. And after he takes on e7, you'll see. Then what's happening in the end is I have a pawn on e4 and a rook's coming to a6. I have a light bishop on c8. The rook's going to g6. The other pawn's going to come to f5. Maybe, and then the other pieces, they don't quite coordinate so well against this attack. At least that's what I thought. So it went something like this, right? Just give it away. When this moves, rook a6. So I sort of had to evaluate this position, right? When I go for knight takes e4. And my thought was, it looks very unpleasant for white. When the rook comes on g6 with the bishop coming to h3, knight f6, all my pieces are playing, right? f5, f4. It seems like a lot to hand, but it's computer, so obviously it's going to defend well. And we understood that rook a3 is also interesting defense. These parallel rooks, chess is so strange. I had these mirror patterns many times. So d5, rook g6, knight c4. I don't think this is the way. I think better may have been, and it's hard. They didn't defend so well. I have to say that. Maybe f4 can save the day. We'll get into analysis from this position later. But already you can see maybe f4 has to be played to slow this attack down. And maybe the computer is doing okay here. I'm not quite sure. I can't really evaluate this too well myself. But bishop f4, this cannot be the correct move. This is when the defense sort of falls apart. That it allows me to come in and just come back. And now, this is a nice maneuver, by the way, right? Because I want to get in f4 so badly that we understand this is coming, and now f4 is a real pain in the neck. I'm going to get f4, f3, and once the g2 pawn falls to pieces, well, the bishop on c8 is going to spring to life. I wonder if there's any way out of this. Maybe rook a3, but nah, the f3 is coming and it's just destroying the whole king side. So we can say already just in the that this is already, whoa, it's better for black. Oh, it's starting to grow. Oh, this is fun. I like watching the modern machine saying it was all, it wasn't all kosher. We'll go back, but there was better defense. So here, obviously I'm coming, and I'm coming. We take, and here, a nice move, just to open the attack on h3 and simultaneously attack something else, right? That's clever. We make him deal with the threat to c4. He comes back, and we monitor this. And maybe bishop h3 was superior, by the way. This might not have been the best. But I thought it was so strong. And even here, there's a blunder. Maybe queen f1 has to be tried, or I'm not sure. But it looks bad already, right? But it went here, and now this is just over because it can't stop. Bishop f3. So this is just minus gazillion. Yeah. So if we go back and get realistic about my idea, how would the modern machine have defended from rook a6? And let's take a look at it. Now, you see, it's up a pawn, right? You got to take that into account in the evals because they love that material. d5, it's sort of okay. It's not upset about that. I want rook g6, and it's not, and king h1 now. Okay, so it's still fine. All right, but, well, there it went. There it went. So knight c4 was the fresh lemon. And the computer wants king h1, bishop f4, and the eval is going down. It's going down. Score one for humanity. So the sort of the kind of positional understanding, like in those days in the themes and keys, we still had some knowledge. I had to see this line, but we still had some hope, right? Now it's all over. Computers are going to 5,000. And then equal. Hold him. Wow. I pat myself on the back for this one. Equal down a pawn, roughly. But it wants bishop f4. I think we should just go down this road. If you were looking at this yourself, what would you play for white? I think most people would choose king h1. Most people would choose king h1. Right? Knight c4 now third line, by the way. That's fascinating. And it says that's zeros. I'll bet you this thing swings to black if we let it run for like 9 years. I don't have time for that. Bishop f4, though. I suppose we could just go down the road of the first line for fun, and we'll come back to knight c4 or king h1. But bishop f4 at once. And now it's starting to change. What did it say before? Because I'm kind of wasn't paying attention. Queen f6, bishop g3. Oh, wow, I can just pick back up this pawn on b2. And that's what it's saying. And then swing back to d4. Oh, that shouldn't be so bad at all. I mean, if I can just go... So that doesn't... I mean, if I can take this one and then come back here and target this guy, I mean, it certainly shouldn't be any edge for white at all, right? So what is this bishop on? Let's go with king h1, because that's the human move. And then, of course, this is coming. And f4. This was the one that I don't know why computers were... Maybe it just felt like this is too weakening to play f4. But f4 is the only move. It's the only move to hold it together. Let's take a look at it. Let the machine run on this. b6, huh? b6, rook f, b6. I don't know anybody who's trying to play b6. Queen b4. Queen h4. I mean, queen h4 is... I mean, I kind of understand that if ef3 isn't a thing, and it is, so maybe f5 isn't the... Because I can sort of see that the defense is coming together, right? Rook a3 is coming. I would have to play en passant here. Before I can see that this is better for white. So let me not go f5. I don't want to play f5. Knight f6. Yeah. This one makes more sense now. When I have this bishop activated, right? I can't block it with f5. And top choice is c4 or d6 or knight c4. It's all zeros. Oh, look at this. The sacrifice is coming, and then queen d7. Let's look at that, because that's pretty funky. Let's go for it. Boom. gh3, queen d7. Difficult to defend this unit, huh? King h2, queen c7. Is that why zeros? Oh, look at this. This guy's hanging. I mean, I'm just waking up. d6, queen c4, queen d4, and this is the reason it's going to be a draw. Extraordinary. I'm having fun with this. See, computers really get you going, because you know you're not dealing with human idiots. You get to play you get to see the truth. more or less. I guess more than less. And look at this, rook g1. Wouldn't be surprised if black is better here. Rook c8. Let's go with rook c8. Rook g6. Rook a d1. Holding the, well, obviously we have to stop this one, kill it before it spreads. Kill it before it spreads. hg6 and c3, something like this. Feels like, well, now rook c5 is better for black. So c3, not a good move. Queen d5 is better. And rook takes c2. Queen d5, queen d5. What do you think? I'm doing okay. So even with the top modern defense from Stockfish 16 in several lines, black is actually better. And that happened because I understood that in giving this unit away, my pieces were just superior after rook a6 dot. Everything is going to be working, and if it doesn't defend perfectly, this f5 f4 comes, like it happened in the game, and it gets crushed. And even in the modern machine is sort of screwing up this defense a bit. Doesn't quite understand. That's kind of shocking to me. But so it says now these are new moves. These are new moves. Rook e1 was in the mix. Okay, so f4 is definitely the thing. F4. That's hard to see, right? Would that jump into your mind? F4 seems to weaken a lot of squares around the king. Like you automatically see a weakened g3 square, and that you're giving black a passed pawn on e4. That's a bit dangerous. And then you're also killing your dark squared bishop a bit, but you are up a pawn. So f3 or f4. Oh, f3 now is the hot move. Okay. f3. Now f4 again. It's not quite sure what to do. Well, let's pick one just for now. This one, it sort of, well, knight f6. Now it's changing its mind. Look, do you see the readouts are constantly shifting? Yeah, wow. That kind of makes me happy. They were confusing Stockfish. We're confusing Stockfish, folks. ef3, queen f3, queen b4, b3, queen c4, rook a c1, rook f6, queen e2, rook f1, knight f1, rook d8. I can see this. Rook d8, queen d2, queen b4, rook d1, knight b6. Huh. Okay, but I want to follow. Let's go follow this guy. And we'll just jump into, let's do some human moves. Bishop g5 jumped out first. I see rook a3. That's kind of a master stroke. But all right, we'll go with the top choice, c4. And now the eval went down, way down again. Queen f3, rook e6, or rook e8. Look at this. This is beautiful. How about this? Wow. Okay, this one I didn't calculate. I promise. If I calculated like this, I would have been. I'd be playing in. I'd be playing in Linares. If I. Bishop f2. Rook e1, queen b4. To go after the weaknesses. I imagine this is not enough compensation with all this liquidation is definitely Doesn't suit my taste. Queen e3, queen a4. Hey, I got my material back. Hoorah. But now I could see that white is better. I've lost all the flavor of the potential attacks are gone, and my friend has a pass pawn, and my pieces are on the back rank. I did not see this far ahead. uh, so what the hell? F3, huh? F3. So let's just hang out and let this let you can fantasize about it yourself. What would you do here? I mean, you sort of have no choice. Is F5? F5 is not a thing, is it? Reinforce the pawn. Rook B6. Well, it's kind of under a pawn, and it's going down. But kind of heavy stuff, right? Heavy stuff. As it went, Scheiborg, which I think had to be a crafty offshoot, just got crushed. But the modern computer probably keep nice advantage here, and F3 is a hot move for sure. That okay, well this one's rather forcing queen f3, and this one sort of puts the question to the pawn right away. B3, queen c3, knight c4. This doesn't feel that bad. B3, so number one. I swear this doesn't feel so bad. Knight c4, rook a c1, rook a c1. Wow. No, you see how chess is so hard? There are quite a few choices. Rook f6, knight f6, or rook e6. It's like game theory. It's like game theory in poker, right? Sometimes you have a couple of two or three choices, depending on which program you're working with. Odin had many sizes, and then DTO generally has. Sometimes you get three answers that are reasonable. Those are the tough ones, The toughest ones are when you miss the giant overbets. Okay, I think we get the point here that white did have defense, but from this position in a human perspective, if you don't see f3, you are in trouble. Well, f3 or f4. The other ones we looked at that aren't so good. Now it's saying rook. Yeah, it's very confusing for the computer. All right, I like this kind of more scientific and more realistic than playing with people, because the people aren't giving you the real resistance. You're not getting the truth. It's really going to be lopsided. It's already lopsided, right? We can't beat our telephones at this point. So imagine what it's going to look like in 10 years. It's all over. The cheating in chess is getting out of hand now. They got these Google glasses. It's gonna be it's bad at the World Series of Poker this summer. It could be real nightmare with people using. They're gonna do it. I mean, wherever there's money involved, they're gonna do it. You just have to be prepared to call someone out when you see something funny. You just go right to the tournament director. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this one. I love going over the old computer games, and see you next time.